horror movies. Mutilation, decapitation, torture. Does that sound entertaining? More blood than a blood bank. Have we got your attention?
Welcome back to Video Waste Reviews Movies. In this episode, we're going to continue down our Nicolas Cage K-hole, and we're doing Mandy, obviously. So, let's hop into it. Obviously,
we don't need to talk about the main character or anything.
We will talk about the main character because eventually we will be like, wouldn't it really cool when he...
Yeah.
So, but for show stealer purposes, we already know it's Nicolas Cage.
It's Nicolas Cage. But what was your Nicolas Cage moment in this movie?
Dude, I don't know, man. There were so many good ones. Like you mentioned, the bathroom scene.
Yeah.
That shit's just fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
I really liked, for whatever reason, like one of my favorite parts of the movie, and I think it's because it was toned down, but it was very eerie and weird, the scene where he goes to the drug dealer.
Yeah.
And it's silent, and he doesn't talk, and the guy is doing all the talking, but it's like, you know, he's responding to Nicolas Cage, but Nicolas Cage isn't saying anything.
Yeah, we're sitting on that, like, extraterrestrial, demonized hallucinogens or whatever.
Right.
Mine actually is, like, when I rewatched it, it's after he experiences, spoilers, the death of Mandy. Mm-hmm. And he comes into the house, and Cheddar Goblins is playing on the TV. He's just experienced this horrible tragedy. His, wife, girlfriend, whatever, has been murdered. He's just had this horrible experience, and then he walks in and Cheddar Goblins is playing. And it just shows, like, you could be in, you could get into a car accident and Walking on Sunshine will be playing, or there's just those moments where like life doesn't slow down, and I really enjoyed that scene. It almost felt like like a wink nod to the audience and stuff. So I will put the bathroom scene is amazing because it really felt like they made Nicolas Cage drink a bottle of vodka 3 times and sit there and just like freak out in that tiger shirt with his leopard skin. But and it almost like there's that moment where the camera pans back where Nicolas Cage is getting so ferocious where the operator was like, whoa, like the energy was too much. But obviously Nicolas Cage does an amazing performance in there. Yeah. What would you say runner up? Like, if we're talking about Nicolas Cage movies, obviously Nicolas Cage, but who would be your, like, wow, that actor kind of stuck out for me?
You remember in Baytown Outlaws how you chose the nurse?
Yeah.
For a 2-minute scene because you hated the movie.
She was the only one who talked sense.
There's a very small character, and it's really a tie between the drug dealer, but also the black guy from Commando. I forgot his name. But it
I think, or something like that.
It looks like he came off the Predator set, went to that trailer, and has been sitting there waiting to, like,
I've been here.
Yeah, they've just, like, he looked like the exact same guy.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I'll give that, like, he's a really good, like, second pass, and then the cult leader.
Yeah,
I thought he did a really good job. And then Mandy, even though, like, her part is very...
I didn't care about her.
I think she's very atmospherical in, like, the look. Like, she has that unusual look.
Yeah.
And, they could have put any, like, like, Hollywood blonde idea of an actress, but they put this normal looking, like, Shelley Duvall looking woman in there.
Yeah.
And I kind of enjoy her just solid moments, especially when, like, she's just walking and, like, the film goes red. But speaking of red, let's talk about excess in color.
There is so much excess in color in this movie. There are very few scenes that are colored normally.
Yeah.
The trailer scene is one,
No.
and then like the beginning of the movie is one.
No.
And then the rest of the movie is just blown out. It was like they said 1970 Suspiria, hold my beer.
Yeah.
And just I mean, it's hard to watch at some points.
Yeah, it's nauseating. That would be my one complaint, even though, like, when I was watching it in this recent time, I wanted to know, is the director trying to put color to, like, those giant colored lights to feeling and mode? You know, like, we're red.
Yeah, I
Anger,
think so.
time to fucking kick ass.
Yeah, I think so.
And then, like, you know, there's those pale colors, but yeah, it's just, it blows out so much. I mean, what was it, Color of Space kind of did, but that made sense because of, you know, we needed the colors, but this just kind of like takes it to the max.
Yeah, I mean, this definitely, it goes way overboard, and when I say overboard, I don't mean it was too much. It felt a little too much at times, but it served its purpose. It did exactly what you wanted it to do.
Yeah.
The colors ranged from all colors of the spectrum, and they all served their purpose in the movie. Like you mentioned, red, angry, like this pink, blue, yellow aesthetic that just it's synonymous with drugs and tripping and all these other things, and that's what a lot of the movie is him, you know, it's somebody on drugs through their eyes. They're seeing stuff on drugs, so they use these really crazy filters, or digital editing, whatever the case is. I guess it's the same thing, but to show these moments of somebody on hallucinogens.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about what I like and the fantasy of demon bikers that are leather daddies, I guess.
Okay, so those guys, the director to me said, you know what's really cool? John Wick.
Yeah.
And Hellraiser. So let's do that. On drugs.
Yeah, the horn of Abraxas.
I mean, it was so many movies in one, but it became its own because of the style of the movie. But when I saw those guys, I was like, they're Cenobites.
Yeah,
they're meth bikers in this movie, but they're Cenobites.
Do you think they were otherworldly, or are they like just fucked up bikers that are hallucinogenic that have gone completely like fucking sideways?
Well, see, here's the thing, because they say that they're normal bikers in the movie, but when you look at them, none of them, they're all mutated.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they just stood too close to radiation too long on LSD, but like they have the appearance of supernatural beings or otherworldly beings, but they're said to be human.
Yeah.
So I think that aspect, like saying they're human and then showing them, that makes them more terrifying, because, and then again, we also don't know if that's what they really look like, or if that's what they look like to people when they're on drugs.
Yeah, I know, because, I mean, talking about otherworld, we see like Jupiter in the background in this movie, so to say that they are just normal bikers is kind of far-fetched. Like, they just don't act like dudes who have taken too many.
They don't sound like them, they don't look like them.
Yeah. We also got some good animation scenes. I like the animation in there.
I didn't like it.
You didn't like the animation?
I don't like animation randomly thrown into the middle. Like, I'm sure that the reason they did that is because that girl that played Mandy was like, no, I'm not getting naked. They're like, fuck it, we'll draw her.
Yeah, the actress probably just didn't want to get naked. So.
It takes me out of the movie every single time I watch it. I'm just like, this is awesome. What? Because I forget about it. Because I don't like it. Yeah. So I forget about it every time.
It definitely comes out of left field feeling and stuff. But does it take me out? No, not completely. Music music was decent. I like that synth style
I think
music.
the sorry to cut you off.
No, that was the end of the
that's
sentence.
pretty. I'm Bert Kreischer. He's Tom Segura.
Yeah.
I just start talking and he's like, yeah, all right, go ahead. The music is its own character in this movie.
Yeah.
The music never stops. There's always music playing in this movie, and I love it.
Yeah.
And I love the music, and it sets a tone for all the different scenes that are coming. It sets like a mood for how you should feel about things, and it's very spacey and it's very trippy, and it matches the colors and it matches the filters extremely well.
Yeah.
Like where they played that like half-assed Charlie Manson record when, you know, Mandy first gets to the cult or whatever. Like
that shows us that
right.
we're in a cult situation.
Right.
Yeah.
So like I would buy the soundtrack and listen to it.
Yeah, I definitely like with the soundtrack. I think it once more. It's like that essence of 80s. Like I don't like movies nowadays that like the way to portray 80s is someone holds up a Rubik's Cube or someone's playing a Nintendo or I don't like movies that try to time travel you and by time traveling is just hitting those nostalgic buttons.
Right.
I like movies that say, okay, this is 80s-esque and they do it through visual storytelling and soundtrack and just dialogue.
All right. Well, you got anything else?
Yeah, one more thing. I was kind of like a couple of when did this movie come out? 2 years ago now? No, 2018.
Yeah.
But before I watched it, I wanted to read some reviews, and I noticed that the reviews on it are all 5 and 1 star, like people who think it's completely boring or completely awesome. And I am on one of those spectrums, going to the completely awesome. Yeah.
Find out in just a minute.
Yeah. But I do see why this is polarizing. I can see people going like, I don't get it. I don't understand it.
Yeah.
I don't
Autistic
like it.
people don't like it.
But I really enjoy movies like that. There's no fucking middle ground. There is no 3 stars on this review because this movie is either loved or hated. And I wanted to know your opinion. Do you feel like this is just like a movie, or do you like, I really like this movie, I really fucking can't stand this? I know your answer, you're wearing a fucking shirt of it, but do you feel like that's proper, that there is no middle ground in this movie?
I think that it speaks really well to the movie because it speaks to who it's aimed at really well. Like, if you don't get it, you don't get it, and it's not for you.
Yeah.
1 star. If you get it, you fucking get it, and it's 5 star.
Yeah.
So it does not surprise me that there is no middle ground. I mean, I imagine there's a few middle grounds thrown in there somewhere, but the majority of it is on the far ends of the spectrums.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, do you just want to star it?
Do we talk about Cheddar Goblin and how awesome that is? But, alright, stars.
You want me to go first?
Yeah, what are you going?
2 stars.
2 stars, nice.
No, I think that
I was going to completely cut you off on that and be like, okay, great.
No, I still feel comfortable giving it 4 stars.
Okay. Yeah, that seems good. I mean, yeah, because of time.
That's why that question that you asked about, like, the middle of the barrel, like, the middle, I was like, well.
I can't give it fucking 3. Me, I'm going 4.5.
Yeah.
The reason that it's not a 5 star for me personally is
we don't get to see Nicolas Cage's dick.
Yeah, completely. But the light, and that can get, like, for certain moments cool, but when you do it too much, it kind of like it loses its functionality.
And I think that what I was saying about it losing its like fanfare, it's that on a longer formatted scale. It's like it was cool the first time. Now it's getting old.
Yeah, I still really like the movie. I think that it was really well done, and like Nicolas Cage was perfectly cast in this movie. The other actors were really well cast. It created a new horror franchise of Ash Williams. There's not very many horror movies out there where you're rooting for the good guy, you're rooting for the villains sometimes in these style of horror movies. But in this, it's like, okay, yeah, man, I want to see the adventures of Nicolas Cage. I don't even remember the goddamn Nicolas Cage's name in the movie.
I don't either. I don't remember them ever saying it.
No.
The names were very obscure. They didn't even say Mandy until like the middle of the movie.
Yeah.
They didn't say Jeremiah until like 20, 30 minutes into the movie.
Or they might have, and because the dialogue is kind of muddled in some places.
Well, yeah, there's that
like,
vocal filter on everything. But again, that matches the aesthetic.
Yeah. So. I do... Like I said, I really like the movie. I would love a VHS copy of this movie, you know.
It's very hard to get hold of.
Yeah. But, oh shit, I just fucking try to make one my own. But it has that essence of being a real good classic. Mandy, what did you think? Tell us what you thought about this movie.
Yeah, let us know how you felt about this movie, whether it was the 1 star or the 5 star.
Yeah, so
or somewhere in between.
Yeah.